Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. Just want to update you before the closing of the weekly candle. In a few hours, I think in roughly 2 hours from when I record this video, the weekly Bitcoin candle will close, and I want to prepare you for the next week because next week a few interesting things could happen. So first of all, next week the Fed is planning a separate a special meeting that will happen tomorrow, on Monday, depending on your time zone, but it definitely is on Monday, early afternoon in the US. Don't really know which time zone, but they will probably talk about interest rates. And I think the expectation in the market is at the moment that interest rates might be increased. And depending on how these interest rates will be increased, depending on what is already priced in, we will definitely see some volatility. If interest rates will not be increased, I do expect some upside. It is really hard, or nearly impossible, it actually is impossible, to predict that at the moment. And that's why I've told you here in the last few days that the market is really moving sideways. The market is moving sideways. Obviously, there are always a few cryptos which are moving up and down if certain patterns broke or whatever, or if some fundamental news came up. But this is often only short term, and the market is really looking for direction at the moment. And this is something big that could be coming today. That's why I don't think we're going to see here a lot of movement until tomorrow. I think maybe 16 to 20 hours from now we will know much more. And I do expect some volatility similar to last Thursday. Last Friday we had quite a bit of volatility in the market, and until then I do expect some sideways movement. But I also wanted to prepare you for next week. First of all, there will be more volatility, probably due to the conflict around Ukraine. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to get into politics, but there is some volatility going on, and the markets do suffer because of that. Last time we had a similar event that was here in March 2020. That was around COVID. We had the market drop quite a bit. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't look that much, but back here, this was quite big. We had a drop here of Bitcoin at the time of around 62%. And if there is a shock moment, that can obviously happen. Obviously, this recovered fairly quickly. Only a couple of months it recovered, and then we saw a bull run that we never saw before like that. And something similar could happen again. You know that my expectation still is that we are going to get into this yellow target area down here between 20 and 28.7k. The question is only, do we get there straight away like that, or do we make a extended move? Do we go up first, maybe all the way up into the region of 65k and then come down? In both situations we are doing a correction. In this here, where we are moving up first, this is just an extension of the current correction that we're doing. I'd much prefer to go down straight away, because the bull run that will come afterwards, I think, is nothing that we've ever seen before. It would be a wave 3. The wave 3 is typically the most bullish wave, in my view. There are different ways how you can count all of this. That's my view. No reason to really talk about 4, 5, 6 different scenarios in every video. I go with what I primarily expect, and so far it's been working out. But what I really wanted to point your attention to is the weekly candle. The weekly Bitcoin candle is a rather bearish one. Shows the strength of the rejection up here, with this long wick to the upside. You can call it a shooting star. The name doesn't really matter, it's just a label, but you can see here that long wick to the upside. That is really, really long. From the opening price of that weekly candle down here, that's the power of the bears at the moment in the market, and typically that is followed by some price decline. But there is a lot happening in the market at the moment, and these news could really shake the market up next week. Just really want to show you, we had this a few times before. One that just sticks out to me is here. You can see these candles, this candle especially here. It occurred here back in June 2019, and you can see what happened after that. From the top of that weekly candle, the price dropped actually 72%, and from the closing price of that weekly candle, pretty much where we are now as well, just roughly, we dropped 63%. Yes, of course, not in one straight line. That is rarely happening, but yeah, that happened. And you get these typically at the top. I mean, you get these long wicks to the upside, you know. But that was the one occurrence where a similar candle occurred. I can't really make out another one just now. Not on this chart, at least. Yeah, no point in looking for these now for a long time. But yeah, maybe it did only occur once before. But the one time it did, you had really not much fun in the weeks after that. Looking here on the shorter time frame, just to go onto the daily. So basically summary, you know, there's a lot that's going to happen next week. A lot of volatility in the market, really. So be prepared for that. I think that's why we're currently seeing here a bit of sideways movement, because people are just waiting for tomorrow. They're waiting, you know. As I told you yesterday, there was this descending wedge. I did delete it actually, but we had this descending wedge that did form here on the price chart. As pretty much expected, it did break out, yeah, but we didn't have the volume. So it did break out to the upside. It did the retest, and now it's just hovering sideways. We didn't really have a breakout yet. We didn't have the volume. You can see down here that the volume is or has been decreasing. And typically when that is taking place as well, you can see here pretty much like a triangle. Then you can typically expect here very shortly another big candle. And now that could already happen tomorrow. And yeah, something like that you had back here in February 2020. But yeah, we like just a large candle, right? That typically happens after a decline. Also, when the Bollinger Bands contract, you typically get another large candle. But yeah, that is what you need for a confirmed breakout of a descending wedge or a wedge pattern in general. You need the volume. And when is this breakout really going to happen? I think it's going to happen when this previous area of resistance gets broken at around 43k or 40, yeah, roughly, you know, it depends. When this area is broken, 49, 42.9, yeah. When that area gets broken to the upside, then you can expect quite a large move up, yeah, possibly first to here 44k, and then it could go all the way up to the beginning of that wedge here at pretty much 45.5. This would be invalidated, this breakout scenario, if the price drops below the lowest low here that we had in the wedge, pretty much below 41.75k. That is why it's currently holding fairly well. Yeah, that's pretty much what we see here at the moment. And as you know, I'm really looking for this level here, the 46.5. If we break above that, the scenario where we go down straight away would not entirely be invalidated, but become much less likely. And if we drop further here in the first instance below 41k and then even here below 39k, I think then we can be much more certain that we're also going to drop all the way down to 33. And I think then we can expect even lower prices here all the way down into my target area below 28.7k. Cardano also weak at the moment, like the whole market at the moment, pretty much moving sideways, but it also lost here this ascending trend line. That's not a big problem. I'm going to take that out. It might retest that now. It's still in this descending wedge as well. So Cardano still is in a descending wedge, and that might break to the upside here. But again, also just moving sideways, waiting here for a little bit of confirmation of Bitcoin. In the end, didn't really want to make it a long video, just really wanted to show you what could happen next week and prepare you for some of the volatility. To be fair, we can expect here some temporary upside, short-term upside for Bitcoin, for Cardano, because we see here on the 4-hour chart, it's now getting oversold, yeah, getting below the 30 level on the weekly, on the 4-hour RSI. And you can even see here already the 4-hour RSI is going up. The 4-hour MACD as well, moving a little bit higher, decreasing selling pressure, which is generally a good sign. But on the daily, you can actually see the little bit of the opposite. So yeah, we might go up a little bit, but generally we might follow this wedge further down because the daily is more meaningful. On the daily, you can see that we're still in the bearish range. So that is in a downtrend. You keep staying on the daily in the bearish range. And the MACD on the daily is also probably gonna do print a bearish crossover here in the next few hours or days. But yeah, a couple of hours, that weekly candle is gonna close for Bitcoin. And how is Cardano's weekly candle looking? Actually, also rather bearish, not that bearish, not as bearish as Bitcoin's, but in the end, it's following Bitcoin at the moment. We know that. So yeah, that it will be an interesting week next week. I'd be surprised if we don't see a lot of volatility. I think we will see volatility. So it will be an interesting week for everybody who's watching the charts. All right, hopefully you like the update about Bitcoin and Cardano. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, maybe consider to join as a channel member. Lots of additional content on Discord, Telegram, a fantastic live chat room with a lot of great members. And there's also a weekly live stream. We did one today. You can always watch all recordings. And yeah, so hopefully you like the update. Please leave a comment, a like, and also subscribe if you haven't already done that. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.